Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Samantha and I'm known here on YouTube as the Huga Stitcher. I have, just to give you a little rundown, my table is full of cross stitch, everything. I have been busy over the last 3 weeks since my last video, so I have a ton to share with you. I have some projects that are like so close to being finished that it's just like I'm, in the home run, right? I'm right at the very, very end. And I'm just excited to share my progress with you all. And I thought, today was a perfect day to film. And so here we go. We're going to spend some time together. I'm going to start off with Spring Quaker by Leela's Studio. This was a pattern that I had started a few years back. This was a part of a stitch along that I hosted. It is the Spring is Sure to Follow Sal. There are many stitchers out there who have joined and are, many have finished really, and many of us are still stitching. This was the chart that started it all for me when this came out in Market 2022. It was my top pick. And I started a stitch along, and I've been working on it ever since. And this is one of the projects I was telling you about that is very, very close to the end. This is my first Leela Studio. I'm so close to a finish. Check it out, everyone. I have been working on this, in chunks. Like, if you've been here watching my journey over here on YouTube, I had started in the corner here, and basically what I had done is I had made goals for myself. Like, I wanted to work straight across, then I worked straight down, and then it was like, I wanted to get the full Quaker motifs, all the medallions, everything all around. The center piece I saved for last, and that's where I am now. Up at the top here it says, no matter how long the winter, and the words down in here will be spring is sure to follow. I fell in love with this chart because of the words and because of the really adorable bunnies. That remind you of Easter. And it's so cute. The carrot, the flowers, the birds, the robins. This is just such a beautiful chart and such a unique way to do a Quaker. I've seen a lot of Quakers, and I love them all. Actually, I'm getting right into this, into stitching all these really fun medallions. But I just love how Leela's Studio has designed these seasonal Quakers, where in the center there is always another image to see. So it's almost like you get to stitch 2 charts in one. But here I go. This is where I am. I am stitching this on a 36 count hand-dyed fabric by Rolanda, and I'm stitching it with DMC. I remember there were some in the chart. There are called for DMC, but there was also some other colors like Classic Colorworks and some variegated flosses. And they also had included a DMC conversion for them. So I stuck with DMC. I love using DMC. I have quite a collection and I love using what I have. And that's what I stuck with. I think it's beautiful. And the stitching on the 36 count is like 2 strands over 2. And it gives this really beautiful plush stitching. So over spring break, I worked on the flowers here in the center. I had sort of broken this up into chunks when I, over the last year, I had stitched the basket last year and then left everything in the center. And then I, spent like 4 or 5 days, I had stitched the houses and the trees. And then this time when I picked it up, I stitched the whole flower motif in the center. Really beautiful. That was so fun to stitch. The next time I pick this up, I have one more stitchy session. I'm going to finish the houses on the other side and put in the words spring is sure to follow, and that's a wrap. I think this is gonna go straight to the framer once it has been completed. I would love to have a Leela Studio Quaker in my background on the backdrop here. I think it's very fitting since I'm stitching all of the seasonal Quakers, and I just want to have one of them back there. It's gorgeous. There's so much to these charts. I've said this many times. One of my favorite things about this chart is that it has these little tiny pops of black color that you wouldn't expect in the chart. But I mean, this bird here, like, you know, crow, okay, it needs to be black. And then these flowers here, I guess those are kind of like carnations. And you would think that they would be, you know, green, but Leela has put in some black, and I just love the pop of color. It kind of goes in with the black writing that will be in the chart. It's just a beautiful way of incorporating some black stitching in there, and I love it. And I've noticed that she's done that in all 4 of them. There's these little tiny pops of black color. I love it. What else could I say about this? There's each one of these Quakers has really fun elements. Like with this one, just throughout the design, there's little tiny bees and the bee skip, the beehive. You know, with the elements of the bunnies, the basket in the middle, there's butterflies in here. And then these here kind of reminded me of snow. You know, because I had originally started this chart because I have a hard time getting through the winter. We have a really long winter season here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and it's tough. Like it really does start in like sometimes October, but November is when, you know, you get that blanket of snow and it covers the ground, and it's like, okay, that's it. I'm not gonna see the grass for months and months now. And here we are today. It is mid-April and all of the snow has officially melted. And I don't consider it spring until we have these trucks that come around the city that, you know, the cleaners, they sweep and pick up all the dirt off the roads because here our winters are quite, you know, the roads, they get beat up over the winter, and a lot of ice and snow. And they use a lot of gravel and salt. So that is a big job to clean up in the city. And once that has been completed, there's no more snow. All the dirt's been cleaned up, and now the grass is gonna start to grow soon, and we'll see little buds on the tree. So it's like right there, we're just about there. And this chart I had started on the very first snowfall in November 2022. So I really wanted to get this finished this spring. Before the first day of summer, this will be done. So I'll be excited to share that with you again once it's been completed. And then off to the framer she goes. I have to thank you all, those who have contributed to the Buy Me a Coffee link. I started it a few years back and has been accumulating funds. And I used those funds last year to frame What Remains Is Love by Blackbird Designs. And I've had a few donations this year so far that I have been saving for this. Because as soon as it's done, it's going straight to the framer. And with your help, I'm gonna be able to frame this. So that's very exciting. Like getting something framed, fully finished from start to finish is such a rush, like so exciting. And I cannot wait to complete it and have it hanging on my wall. Goals, very excited about that. Another thing I'm excited about, today I just received an order from Traditional Stitches. I placed a small order because there is a brand new Quaker. It's the winter Quaker. It's called Peace on Earth by Leela Studio. And I have ordered the chart. It hasn't arrived yet, but part of my order did arrive. And what I had placed an order for was the called for fabric for Peace on Earth. So this is a 36 count. Actually, I think the called for is 40, but I'm doing 36 on mine. And because I love to stitch the 2/2 on linen with the DMC floss. And this is the called for color. It is R&R reproductions called Patriots Brew. Very, very beautiful. I'm excited to stitch on this. This is my very first R&R. So that's a first for me, and I'm really excited about it. It's very exciting getting something in the mail too. That doesn't happen very often for me. And when this came today, I was like, all right, time to film a floss tube. I had a shower, did my makeup, and came downstairs and put everything on my table, and away I went. You know, today's film day. I'm very excited to get this in the mail from Traditional Stitches. Yeah. So soon I will have the Peace on Earth chart, and when I get it, I'm gonna decide when to start. And I'm hoping some of you will join me. If there's any of you out there that are stitching the Quakers or fell in love with that chart and are starting to collect the items for it too, we can do a stitch along together. So that will be really fun. Still thinking about when to start. Like, I have many of them on the go now. Spring Quaker to be wrapped up, but I have Summer Quaker that is like a third done. And I have Autumn Quaker that's really in the early stages of a start. So I don't know, should I wait till winter? Do you think others will, like if you're interested in joining the stitch along, will you want to wait until maybe the first day of winter to start this, or the month of November or December or something? So let me know in the comments if you're interested in joining, when you would want to start the stitch along, because that might help me decide while I wait for my chart to come. Okay, so I guess I should show you my needlework press book of days 2025. I'll give you a quick little, you know, what I've done so far this year. I love these books, and I love being able to keep track of my stitching. So I have my list of works in progress. I decorate with stickers, and basically in here, it's really simple. Like, I will write down the days that I film a floss tube. I will write down just simply what I've worked on and for how many days. And I leave blanks for days that I don't stitch. Yeah, it's a good way for me to keep track while I'm filming for Flosstube, what I've actually stitched on and how long I worked on them and that sort of thing. So here's my February. Here's my March. And during March, we had spring break and I got a ton of stitching done. So I'll show you everything that I worked on during spring break and my start to April. Super fun. So next up, I want to share with you. This is a Mirabilia that I have completed the stitching on. This is Stargazer by Nora Corbett. This is my oldest Mirabilia. Let me get my book. Now that I just put it away, I need to reference it already. Oh, okay, Muka is a Mirabilia that I started in May 2022, so that's technically my oldest work in progress for Mirabilia. But Stargazer, I started in the same year, October 2022. And she's gonna get a finish this year, for sure. So I have, over spring break, I made it a goal for myself to complete her, like just her stitching. She has a ton of beads to do, but this was no joke. Her dress, this, like, I feel like everything in this section right here, which is all the stuff I did last, because I started at I started in the middle, but I worked my way up and I did her face and her arms. And then I'm very much, when I love to stitch a dress, I love to start at the top and work my way down. And I did that. I chose colors on the top part of her dress. I did this whole gray section. I did the ribbons, and then I did the dress. And this part, super easy. Like, it would just, like, it flowed. It was simple to do. And then you come down here and it looks simple enough, but this stitching was no joke. It took so long. It's just very, like, there's just so much of it. So it's so dense, and you would get like these little strips of color instead of chunks of color. So you would, you know, start at the top here and then stitch down there and then go back up and then get another color and just keep going. And it changed directions. Like, this one goes out that way and this one goes down here, and you know, this one flows, and then these ones flow this way. Just a twists and turns everywhere. And it was a lot of work, but I finished it. Holy moly, look at that. I stitched this on the called for 32 count. I believe it's called Toasted Almond, or Almond Toasted Almond by Witchelt. I'm a big fan of Witchelt's fabrics and stitching them on with my Mirabilias. I'm starting to venture out and try new fabrics and, you know, things that have modeling and different colors and things like that. But overall, when you look at a Mirabilia, in my opinion, when you look at a Mirabilia and it's on just a simple fabric, the colors of the dress and her hair and the beading and everything just sort of almost like pops off the fabric, right? And you almost don't notice the fabric. You're noticing the, you know, Stargazer, that sort of thing. And that's what I really love about that. But like I said, I'm trying, you know, maybe an opalescent or something with some variegation, like mottled colors in it, but nothing too wild. Nothing too wild in my corner. I love to keep it simple and stitch on the called for fabric. I think Stargazer is beautiful. She's one of the Mirabilias that's still in print, and she's a must stitch in my opinion. She's gorgeous. She's a must stitch, must have on your wall one day pattern. And that's why I had this in my collection for quite some time, and starting my Flosstube in 2022 was when I really was like, hey, let's start getting all of them kitted up and started. So yeah, it's been really, really exciting and fun. Stargazer, she's gorgeous. I really love some of the older designs by Nora Corbett. The new ones that come out, like she just had a release today, the 15th, another new mermaid, and I believe it was her 199th Mirabilia chart. Kind of crazy. She's getting close to 200 patterns in her Mirabilia collection. And anyways, the chart is beautiful. I love it. I'm thinking about getting it. I've forgotten the name, but I'm going to insert a picture so that you can see what I'm talking about. She has this like Dreamers collection, and basically what it is some of her charts, I think there's going to be 3 or 4 of them, where you can, the way that she's designed the chart is in 3 chunks, like the top, the middle, and the bottom. And they're meant to be interchangeable. So you can like, oh, I love the hair on this one that she released, but not so much that, but you could switch it out. And which is a really cool concept. And so I'm thinking about collecting those and adding them to my collection for a one-day kit up and start. I think they're both, the 2 that she's released so far are really, really beautiful. And yeah, I think I want to get those. One day I'm going to put them on my list. But I have quite a collection of Mirabilias that are from, you know, from the 90s and the early 2000s that I absolutely love. They were the time of years that I fell in love with Nora Corbett and her designs. So I have like a lifetime of stitching to do from that era, you know, when she was in her 90s era. And yeah, and I want to get through them and I want to stitch them. And but I'm not saying no to some of the new stuff that comes out as well. Like this next one that I want to share with you. This is my brand new start. I figured since I was getting very close, very, very close to some finishes, that I could allow myself to have a new start. And so far, this is my first start for 2025. I haven't had any new starts. And so April, that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. And I figured, yeah, that's good. I did a count today. I'm at 39 whips now that I've got this. This is Nora Corbett's Rogue Dragon from her Patreon. I teased a little bit about this on my last video. You'll see this, you know, I took a beautiful picture of the fabric and the frame that I'm using and all the colors on top of the fabric, and it's stunning. This picture doesn't do it justice, but you get the idea of what Rogue Dragon is gonna look like. And I gotta start. This is just 2 days worth of stitching. Was very excited to get a start on this, and so it's not a lot. But I have to say that getting these colors on this fabric is so fun and so rewarding to me. So you can start to see I started at the top of the design, and I'm working on the dragon's face right now and getting some of those wild, like there's hot pink in there. There's such a great use of color in this chart so far, where you see like the light bubblegum pink and you know, some of the like hot pink colors, and then they've got some plummy purple and some dark chocolate brown. There are so many colors in here. And all in here, this part of her is like the top of the dragon, and it's gonna be all like golden colors, like browns and golden colors through the top, and leads into the wing. Wow. And so I can imagine the rest of this dragon, as you go down through the body, is going to be more of these pinky, bright colors and purples. Look at these colors. This is so fun. This has been so fun. Like, look at these vibrant, there's oranges and golds and pinks and purples. Yes, I'm in love with this palette. And I'm stitching this on a fabric that I had acquired from the Winnipeg Embroidery Guild. One day we had, what do you call it? It was like a night where you could sell your stash, you know, and so some stitchers had set up a table and was selling some of their things that they're no longer using. And a lovely stitcher had this piece of fabric. It's a 28 count linen called Blush. And when I saw it on her table, I was like, that's coming home with me, because I'm always on the hunt for fabrics. I have trouble. I have hundreds and hundreds of charts and hardly any fabric to stitch these on. So it's always my struggle. And so when I saw this beautiful blush linen, I was like, yep, that's coming home with me. It was a great price. And once I had it in my collection, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to stitch on it? And I had a couple of ideas, but once I had decided I was going to buy a Rogue Dragon from Nora Corbett's Patreon, because the picture has a pink in the background, I was like, I wonder if those colors are going to look amazing. And I pulled the colors. I purchased some that I was missing because I don't have a lot of these like bubblegum pinky colors. And yeah, so I pulled the colors, placed them on the fabric, and I was just like, this is like meant to go together. Yeah, so I'm obsessed with this. And it's on a 28 count linen, which I don't normally use. I typically use 32 count, but the 28 count is giving great coverage with the 2/2 DMC. And also it makes the image larger, which I'm really loving. Like, I'm gonna have a nice big dragon to one day frame and put on my wall. Ah, so exciting. So I'm gonna put a link to Nora Corbett's Patreon if you're interested in getting this, because like, she releases a new chart every couple of months that you can get. But this is an older dragon that she released last year. And so every once in a while she'll put it up, and then she'll take it down, and then put a new chart and then take it down. And then now she's starting to introduce some of the older charts that she released in her Patreon a year ago. And now you can just go on the Patreon. You don't have to be a member. You can just purchase the chart, which is what I did. And that's very exciting. Yeah, I'm obsessed with dragons now. Last year was the Year of the Dragon, and I had done, hosted a Stitch Along, the Year of the Dragon Sal. And that just sort of started my obsession of stitching dragons. So I wanted to show you a couple more charts that I have, and I've shown them before, but now I'm really wanting to get these kitted up and stitched. This is a Black Swan design called Wizard of Fire. Long time charts in my stash. And there's actually 3 dragons in this. So you've got the wizard in the middle, and then a dragon sort of with fire wrapped around. And then there's baby dragons. I think there's one on her shoulder somewhere that I can't quite, maybe there's only 2 baby dragons. I feel like once I start this and stitch this, I'll start to understand, like, okay, there's one here, there's one there. I feel like there's another one somewhere. And then this big one here. So that's exciting. I want to stitch this. I actually have to tell you, I found a new floss tuber. So I have, like, I'm sure you are all like this. We have our favorites that are like when their videos, you're watching that video. And then sometimes when you've sort of like reached the end of all of your videos that you wanted to watch, you start looking for new floss tubers, like who's recently like launched a video. Let's meet somebody new. And I came across a floss tuber, like she just came up in my, I guess algorithm or whatever. And I clicked on her video and watched 20 minutes and I was hooked. I was like, that's it. I have found a new floss tuber that is for me. And I thought I would have to share it with you all. Her name is Kristen and her channel is called Your Average Cross Stitcher. And she has like around 1,000 subscribers, which like she needs more because her stitching is incredible. If you love fantasy, movies, she has she does videos where she's like, what happened is her video popped up was about dragons. So I was like, click, I want to see what she's stitching. And I fell in love with her whole collection. She has, that's where I was going with this. She has Black Swan designs dragons that she's stitching, and she stitches Teresa Wentzler dragons, and she loves Mirabilia, and she's stitching Rogue Dragon. And so like we have a lot in common. And so I've actually started from the beginning and started to watch her videos. And she's into fantasy and she's into movies. So like she'll have a Jaws stitch and she'll have a Lord of the Rings stitch. I'm like, she's so inspiring. Kristen, if you're watching, I find you very inspiring, and you've inspired me to bring out my dragon patterns and get them kitted up and stitched. She's working on a Black Swan design dragon that's called Dragon's Lair, and it's really cool, and I'm like looking for that one now. And another one by Black Swan that's like a wizard on a dragon. So cool. So I'm looking for these Black Swan dragon charts. This is another one I have. This one's called Dragon Lake, and it's got a beautiful girl there in a purple dress and a really colorful dragon. And I love the border of this, like the way that you've got that oval shape. I really love. So these two are like a must kit, must stitch one day. Absolutely love. So thank you, Kristen, for inspiring me. I'm gonna move on, and what I want to share next. Maybe I'll go into Teresa Wentzler a little bit. I didn't bring out any Teresa Wentzler this month, but I have some new charts to show you that were gifted to me by Barb from Lizzie Bees. She came across these charts and she messaged me, was like, Samantha, you're collecting Teresa Wentzler's, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I have a couple. Do you have these ones yet? And I was like, no. Perfect. I put them aside for me. This one is called The Castle by Teresa Wentzler. I think this is probably her most popular like chart from the 90s. When did this come out? I wonder if it says here. I might not be able to find it quickly. It doesn't have a 1989. Wow. Okay. 1989 this came out. And it's just one of those charts that I feel like if you're a stitcher who's been around, been stitching since the 80s and the 90s, you probably had this in your collection. You probably had this and maybe tried to stitch it. Like, I know a lot of people that tried Teresa Wentzler's, they get halfway through and they're like, I can't do it. There's too many blends. It's too hard. And I think a lot of people have this as an old whip. And I'm just getting into them. Like, it's 2025 and I'm just starting to collect these and stitch them. I love the challenge of a Teresa Wentzler. I'm building my collection right now and starting my, my projects, kitting up the fabric and the floss and all of that and getting a start on them. So this is definitely going into collection. Not to be kitted up yet because I have other dragons and other things like I'm going to show you soon here. But this is another one that I didn't have. This one's called Noah's Ark. And it's kind of got that little bit of a sampler vibe with the alphabet in there. This would make a great baby sampler, I feel like. Just because of all of the little animals and the critters. And there's a spot here where you can put initials and a date. So that could be kind of fun. Very, very beautiful. I'm so happy to add this. I would love one day to just like have them all. have them all just because I'm a collector now. I love to collect them. But this is something, this one's called Trade Winds that I've had for a while. This was gifted to me by a viewer, and she found it at a flea market for 20 cents. There's still a sticker on there for 20 cents. And this was something that I've been wanting to stitch, and I have, you know, I have the fabric now. I have the floss kitted up, all bobbinated, ready to go. So this is likely to get a stitch, a start next. I think this is going to be my next Teresa Wentzler, and I feel like it's very summery with the boat in there. And I would love to one day be able to switch out my background. Like when it's summertime, have a mermaid, have my ship sampler, put my Treasure Island out and my summer Quaker with the crabs. Like I want to be able to have like a summer setup, and I think this would be perfect. The ship, the water. Again, you've got there's a couple of mermaids in here on the side, which that's why I immediately fell in love with this chart in the beginning, because of the mermaids. And now that I have done an almost completed Treasure Island with the ship, I need this. I need to stitch another ship. This is fun. There's waves in there. there is some very little over one stitching, like there's a seashell in there and a seahorse, and I think those are done over one, but there's just a small amount of it. I can handle that. I can handle that. And one of the features that you don't really notice unless you're really looking at the chart, there's a sun and a moon. I love that. This is a great chart, and I'm excited to get a start on it. I'm going through all my Teresa Wentzler stuff, and I'm dying to start with this. But also kind of pacing myself at the same time, because I know they're a lot of work. I don't want to have 5 or 6 on the go and never get much progress on them. So I'm balancing it out, that sort of thing. Okay, I'm gonna find this, you're gonna find this funny. I pulled this chart out to show you because I'm on the hunt for fabric, and I'm hoping you can help me. I'm looking for a fabric for this Joan Elliott stitch. I had shown this in my fairy video that I did this year, the Queen of the Fairies video. If you missed that, you need to go and watch it, because it's all about fairies. If you love fairies, you need to watch the video. But one of the viewers, and I laughed so hard about this, and I was like, yeah, girl. She was like, she said, Fairy of the Rainbow, start immediately. Start immediately. And I was like, okay, I got you. I need to start this immediately. Marching orders. And I couldn't agree with her more. This is an absolutely stunning chart. The rainbow in her wings, epic. Her dress, the way that it flows, the colors, the teal. But I need fabric. I want her to be special. I want to find something that is kind of gives you that, like, you know, the blue sky, the white clouds, like that sort of background like you see in the picture here. But I really want to try an opalescent fabric. So if you have any suggestions for me to hunt down and find, she needs to be on something special. And I'm just looking for the right fabric. I've been searching online, and nothing has jumped out at me yet. Some things have been close. I'm like, no, not quite. Like, help me find fabric for Fairy of the Rainbow. So I can get a start on her and start her immediately. Okay. I'm gonna go back to spring break. I have some more charts that I worked on. This was some, what would you call it? Like when you're traveling and you're in the car and you're stitching, so like a travel piece. And I've never done this before. Like sometimes I'll try to stitch while we're driving and never really get that far. But I think I want to keep this in the van, and whenever I am picking up someone from school and I'm 15 minutes early, I can park, stitch, put in some strands. Or, like we just did, we went away for spring break, and it's like a hour-and-a-half drive, nothing crazy. I'm gonna stitch on my mermaid. This is a Mirabilia chart that is a freebie that she came up with in 2017 for an Australian retreat. And I started her last summer because I had the itch to start a mermaid, and I adore her. I adore her colors. And I had a piece of fabric that was gifted to me from Sarah, Lady Lugana. That was this beautiful, you know, like screaming for a mermaid fabric. She's got this like beautiful 36 count fabric that was from the Queen City retreat that was hosted when Nora Corbett came a couple of years ago. And this was a fabric that was dyed especially for the retreat called Nora by Grace Notes Fabrics. And Sarah was so kind to gift me the fabric, and I was, you know, searching for the perfect chart, and I think I made the right choice. This is a beautiful mermaid, simple stitch, but I get to use some really fun water lily silk on this. There are a couple of colors. I'm gonna pull them out of the package for you, and I show them every time I show this stitch because the colors are epic. You can see it in the design, but I'm just seeing the colors, you know, wrapped up still on the tag. They're very, very beautiful. So I'm gonna bring them out for you to see. So I've stitched the water lily silk here, and all of this is silk as well. These are the two colors. It's Bermuda Reef and Pine Forest. Get a look at that. The variegation in Bermuda Reef. Oh, so good. So this is just one strand, you know, a couple strands here where it changes color as you stitch. Gorgeous. And water lily silk is such a treat to work with. It's like stitching with, like, it's just smooth, you know, smooth silk stitching. So it's kind of fun to have a project that you can use those with. And Mirabilias and Nora Corbett's tend to have like one or two sometimes in the chart. But then they also have like Krynic too, and beads and charms and things like that. And this mermaid has all of that. It has Krynic around her neck. There's going to be beads all through in here. And I think these holes that you see are all going to be beads through her tail. She's got a crown, like she's going to be jeweled up. And I have picked out a couple of crystals that I'm going to use. I don't know how I'm going to put this in the fabric yet, but this charm is like an oceany heart. And it's it's going to look so good on the fabric. And I think I'm going to put it, I think I'm going to hang it from her tail is kind of my thought, like right here. I think I'm going to put that. I'm not sure yet, but I have to find a spot for that oceany colored gem. It's so pretty. And then I also have a couple of like crystals that I'm going to use in her crown, and I've got some, you know, some sparkly beads. I've got it all set up and kitted up in this project bag for traveling stitching that I'm going to work on when, you know, I'm in the parking lot, or if we go to the cabin this summer again, I am going to bring this with me and stitch on it again. So that's super fun. Okay, I'm gonna put this down. Okay. And also while I was at the cabin, this was the first thing that I had stitched on when I came down there. I am trying to go through my list of works in progress and stitch on every single project I have. I counted, I have 39 whips. I have 39 whips. That's a lot of whips. And at the beginning of the year, I like to I have goals for myself. Like, you know, you see I'm getting close to finishing Spring Quaker, and I planned to finish Stargazer this year. And I have a list of projects that I'm like, that's getting done this year. I'm gonna have some finishes in 2025. But I'm also going from like looking at my whole list of whips and being like, have I touched it yet? And if I haven't, I pull it out and I'm gonna get some work done on it. And then I'll be good. Like if I don't touch it again for the rest of the year, that's okay. Some of my projects are gonna get multiple times where I bring it out 3 or 4 times in a year. You know, it just sort of depends what I'm feeling. And I'm allowing myself to have some new starts and gonna do some finishes. So it's like, this was a project that I typically bring out in January and stitch on my snowman stitch. And this one's called the Snowman Wish You. by thistles. Now I started this in January 2022. It is a very, very simple chart. And I love, like, whenever you're working on something that's a little more intricate and harder to, you gotta focus a lot, like this is easy, fun stitching. So I love working on this project after I've done some hard stitching. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna bring this out. And I wanted to, it's funny because when we went to the cabin for spring break, the first day we arrived, clear roads, got there no problem. And then that evening it started to snow. And when we woke up in the morning, there was a blanket of snow on the ground. And yeah, so I was like, okay, this feels fitting. I can work, on the way there, I was stitching on a mermaid. And once I got there, I'm stitching on my snowman. But it seemed fitting. And, I'm just happy with myself and proud of myself for bringing this out again and getting another snowman stitched. So in 2022, 2023, 24, I did these two here and the border. And now that it's 2025, I have finished one more snowman and I wrote the words, so it's wishing you the best Christmas ever. So there's 3 more snowmen to do. So the next time I pick this up, I think I'm gonna do a little more of the border, probably like stretch the top of the border over top of the next snowman, and then stitch this fun snowman and tree, the star, and get the next one in next year, 2026. This is really fun. It uses, this is a 32 count printed fabric. It's like vintage country mocha and stitched with DMC. However, the snowman, I am using the variegated floss. It's called oatmeal. I think it's Gentle Arts, I think. But it gives it a really cool variegation, and I love that. Like there were other colors that used variegated floss, and I just went like with the DMC because I love DMC and using my collection. And so I thought, well, okay, if I'm gonna get one variegated floss, I bought like 3 skeins of it because there's 6 snowmen. And so far I've used 1 skein for the 3 snowmen so far. So I might have a little bit left over, but I didn't want to run out. And it kind of gives it a cool effect. The snowmen have really fun floss that I get to use in it, so that's fun. I like doing that. Cute, right? So another project that I worked on, this is a goal that I've been set for this is one of my goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. I wanted to, on the 25th of every month, bring out my gold collection stocking. I'm working on Enchanted Ornament Stocking by Dimensions. It's a kit that I received from Barb, the owner of Lizzie Bees. She gifted this for me for Christmas one year, and I started it, as soon as I got it, and it's been a work in progress for a long time. So I started this in January 2022. This was when I was working at Lizzie Bees a lot more. I still work at Lizzie Bees, but I'm very, very part-time. Barb calls me when, something, she needs coverage, something's happened, or she's got an appointment, or something comes up with her daughter at school, or she's going to a play or something. She'll call me and say, can you come in today? Yeah, sure. I love working at the store. It's so fun to meet stitchers and to see when somebody walks in the door, and you can tell they've got their list, and I'm like, okay, they know what they're looking for. They came down for some DMC and some fabric, and I just love knowing, what are you working on? What's your need? Sometimes they'll even pull out their phone and be like, oh, I got this brand new pattern, and this is the picture, and I'm so excited to get started. Came down here to get what I needed. So I love that part. That part's so fun. Or if a customer comes in and they want to get something framed and it's a fully finished, they roll it out, I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Fun to see what people's finishes and how excited they are to get it framed. So anyways, back to the cross stitch that I worked on. This is my stocking, And every month on the 25th, I bring this out and stitch on it for a day. And so far I have been keeping up with it. Sometimes the 25th will come around and I'm like, oh, not today, you know, but I'll pull it up and put it beside my stitchy spot, and I'm like, hey, tomorrow or the next day I'm gonna stitch on it. And the point of it is to really just to get some more floss in the fabric and get some movement on this picture here. And it's working so far. So far it's coming along great. I don't force myself to give it like a whole week or anything like that, like just a day. So if I manage to get like 5 or 6 strands of floss in there, great. And it's coming along. So I did all up in here this time. I actually was missing a little bit of this gold border, so I had to like stretch across here. And then I found, you know, wherever I was missing a color, I'd stitch some and get some of these berries in there and stretch my colors down and across, just to sort of get that shape in there. And yeah, I've got plans. You know, every time I bring this out, it's like not such a long time in between each time I've been stitching it. So I have these little mini goals that I want to reach, like, ooh, the next time I pick this up, I'm going to stitch down over on this side, and I want to get, so you can see those red berries. There's some white ones there too, and I want to get to those white berries, and I want to finish those green branches. And what I noticed as I had this out, I was looking at the chart. It's broken up into 2 pages, and the top page is what I've been working on up here. Like, it kind of goes to like around here. And what I noticed is the top half of this stocking is the like intricate part of the design. It's got all those, like, the berries are small, like they're just like a few stitches around here, and there's a lot of green branches, and even the ornament was very like it was the smallest ornament out of the 2. And then you look at the bottom of the stocking, like this, all of these big leaves and big berries, and the ornament with the cardinal. The stitching inside of there looks so much easier than the top half of this stitch. So that's something that's like, okay, I can do this, I can get through the top. And once I get to that second ornament, even the ornament there with the reindeer, it looks simpler. There's chunks of color. There is, like, you could have a strand and fill in a section. Like, that's the type of stitching I love doing. And so I can see the reward as I will be able to like move down in this stitch. It's gonna get easier. But for right now, I have no like real plans of like, okay, this has to be finished this year. That's not it. It's just on the 25th of every month, bring it out and stitch on it for a day, get some floss in there, get some movement going on this stocking. I have other stockings that I have started, and I have purchased new stocking kits. So I have all these plans, but this was my first one, and I want to get some really great progress on it this year, so I can feel good about starting some of my other stockings. But still a lot of fun. It's beautiful, right? Can't go wrong with a Dimensions stocking kit. There's many out there, many different styles of Santas and things that you can stitch. I recommend that you have at least one, you know, if you're into stockings, or if you've never made one before, if you're thinking about stitching one for yourself or for a family member or a new member in your family, that could be fun to do. And I think that everyone should have. You should have a stocking on the go as a whip. Okay. What else can I show you? I'll show you a little bit more of my stitchy, like, stuff that I got from Traditional Stitches, because I'm working on kitting up my very first Châtelaine. And I think this is going to be a start for my birthday this year, if I can hold out that long. Maybe I might just get it started this spring. We'll see. But this is a Châtelaine called the Frosty Knot Garden. It's the Châtelaine number 35. This was a gift from Beth. She is a loyal viewer, and she reached out to me last year and asked if I was wanting to have some of her stash. And she shared with me some really beautiful Châtelaine charts. And this was the first one that I have decided to stitch. I'm so thankful because these are expensive, you know, but it's also something that I know I'm going to enjoy. Like if I can stitch a Mirabilia and stitch with Krynic and beads and jewels and things like that, like I'm gonna love stitching a Châtelaine. And this was the first one I picked. And over the last couple months, I've been collecting different pieces. So I had already purchased from Lizzie B's the fabric that I need. I'm decided to stitch a 28 count white Lugana. So I'm gonna use that nice big piece. What is this, 42 by 27? Nice big piece. And when Beth gave me the chart, she also gifted me the bead pack. So this is the Knot Garden Frosty, Delica beads and charms. Oh, they're so pretty. Oh my gosh. So that's half the, you know, half the battle right there is the chart and the beads. And so I got the fabric. And then with traditional stitches, I placed an order. I had, I was missing a couple colors of, I had these two. These are the ones I got from traditional stitches, some treasure braid. So there's some silver, some sparkly, like almost like a white. And then this one's like copper color. These are gonna be so gorgeous. And then these were some of the colors that I had purchased from Lizzie B's. So I think I have all of them now, all the treasure braid I need for the stitch. And I had collected the DMC flosses that it calls for. And then from traditional stitches, I got some silks. I think I might be missing one more color, but that's okay. I will substitute for a DMC. But these are the Gloriana silks that I was able to get. Oh, this one's called Lavender Haze. This is Silken, the Thread Gatherer Silken Colors. I've never used these before, so I'm really excited to give those a try. And these are the Glorianas. This is Cobblestone, Spanish Moss, and Sage. Look at those. They've got the variegation in them. So pretty. And then there's a couple of dinky dyes, which I've also never used in a stitch before. So this is like gonna be a lot of firsts for me. My first Châtelaine, first time using some of these silks, and even the Delica beads I've never used before either. So that's kind of fun. This one's called Ghost Gum and Native Plum. So those are gonna be a lot of fun too. I think I'm ready. Like I might be missing a color here and there. I've got a couple of these Water Lily silk that I got from Lizzie B's. I think I'm ready. Like what else could I need? I'm going to stitch it probably using a Q-snap and start right in the center. You know, right in the center of, right in here. I think that's gonna be, I think this is gonna be like ultra sparkly, lots of crystals and gems and beads and that sort of thing. And then this will be kind of fun to do too, where you've got these sections, different colors, and just goes on and on. It's gonna be really, really fun. So I don't know, I really do want to get the Teresa Wentzler started, and then this. So it might be a birthday start for me. We'll see, but I'm ready. Like whenever the time comes and the day comes and I'm like, today's the day, it's waiting and it's ready for me. And then just like a few days ago or a week ago, Amy from Fiber Arts, Amy and Kitschy Whips, they are doing a Châtelaine. They just announced their next stitch along, which will start in January 2026. So a long time away still, but it gives people a chance to kit up the project. The chart that they have chosen is the Summer Garden Mandala. And Beth gave this to me with her, you know, stash that she had shared with me. This was another Châtelaine. I have this in my collection. And she also gifted me the Delicas to go with it. So I think I might have to join the stitch along. I'm gonna see, you know, how things go in, you know, when I start my new Châtelaine, how the process goes, how I'm enjoying it, that sort of thing. But if things are going well, I think I'm gonna have to kit this up and just start collecting the items for this as well so that I can join the stitch along in January. So there, this picture shows it with a black fabric, but I would do white, like, you know, just a classic white fabric. In the center here, they're like, it's hard to see in this picture, but these little red in the center, those are all strawberries. There's beehive in here. There's just lots of beautiful colors, summertime colors in there that I think will really pop on a white fabric. That's how I would do it. But I couldn't believe it when they announced it that they are doing the Summer Garden Mandala. I was like, okay, this just might be meant to be. I might have to start collecting items for this one too. So that's exciting and fun. So I hope to join. One more thing I wanted to mention before I leave you, because I'm done with all of my cross stitch and showing you everything. One more exciting thing that I have done is, it's a small thing, but I've been looking forward to this for a while. I have been thinking about getting a P.O. box, because a lot of people do reach out to me and say, Sam, I want to send you something. And I've always been kind of like a little bit uncomfortable with giving my address out to people that I don't really know, right? So that's kind of like my home address. And so I've thought, since I've had this YouTube channel, like it would be really great to have a P.O. box number. And so I finally, just like a couple days ago, I went down to the post office and signed myself up for a P.O. box. And I got a new P.O. box address, and I'm going to link it below in the video. If you ever wanted to send me a card or a Stitchy Kindness, anything at all, like really, I'm looking forward to just to have the box there so that you could send something if you wanted to. But also, I'm really excited about what's going to show up in the box. Now that I've, you know, sort of let that out into the universe and let you know that it's there. I'm just excited to like put the key in and open it up, and like, if there's a card in there, like I'm just excited about that. So if you are feeling inclined that you'd like to send me a card or a postcard or something like that, you could use the P.O. box number and kick that off. That's super exciting. I'm excited about that. So yeah, that is everything for today. I've talked about all of my projects and what I'm looking forward to starting soon. I will be back probably in another 2 to 3 weeks with a Stitchy update. I hope you had a good time today. I know I did. I always look forward to these videos. And I want you to know that when I release a video, I'm sitting at home, I'm like, oh, like they're literally my favorite day. I call it New Flosstube Day. Like it's my favorite day. Like today was fun filming the video, but tomorrow when I release the video is ultra fun. I get to read your comments and interact with you. And it's just a really fun, exciting thing that I look forward to. I look forward to spending time with you. I know what it's like when you're at home and you're stitching and a video pops up from one of your favorite floss tubers. I experience that as well too. I have my favorites and that I look forward to, and when their video it's like, okay, let me get set up. Let me set up my Stitchy spot, get a coffee, and visit with a friend. So I know what that feels like. So I hope that you had a good time today, and I'll be back again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.